I just thought I would give a bit of an update with Arthur being barefoot, because I think he's been barefoot for about 2 months now, so he's had 2 trims so far. And the results have been quite encouraging, so I just thought I'd just give a brief update. Obviously he's got quite a long way to go, but for anybody that is going down the barefoot journey, I thought I'd just give a bit of an update. So as a bit of background, so I have actually done a vlog on hoof paston, axis alignment, and the reason why I chose to shoe Arthur with wedge pads and dental impression material. So at that point I was obviously trying that approach to try and restore the hoof paston axis alignment, basically trying to raise P3 up, because if people remember, I'll put an x-ray image up. In all 4 of Arthur's hooves, P3 was ground parallel, whereas there should be a positive angle where the tip of P3 is slightly lower than the back of it. This is what I started with. So this is Arthur's hooves when I started, and you can see that the angles are all really out. So I suppose the paston angle and the hoof wall angle should be the same, whereas it's out by quite a lot, and this is obviously reflected in the x-ray that I've just shown. So then we did wedge pads with dental impression material, and this is an image of Arthur's hoof with the wedge pads. So as you can see, it's still not a perfect alignment, but it's a lot better than without. And then here's the second time he was trimmed by the farrier, before he had his wedge pads put on for a second time. And this just goes to show how important, so for anybody who shoes their horses and things like that, this just goes to show how important the trim is, because this trim actually made the angles worse. So Arthur doesn't fall into the default. Like, I know that I'm not a farrier, and I know that they're supposed to be more knowledgeable on this kind of stuff than me. Fine, fair enough. But the thing is, I've had some positive results with Arthur by just leaving him alone. So I think I've kind of been a little bit right, but we'll come to it anyway. So you can see that the angles are really off, and then he had wedge pads on again. But the whole point of the wedge pads was to try and restore things, try to help the heels to grow. But if the heels are going to keep on getting chopped off, then there's no point. Wedge pads was never a permanent thing for me. It was a temporary thing to allow the heels to grow. But now, for me, that didn't work because the trim wasn't right. Obviously, I follow farriers where they are very diligent with their trimming, and they get really good results. So anyway, I decided to take Arthur's shoes off, and then I just left them alone, and he's had 2 trim cycles. So I'll show you, I'll post some pictures up, what I started with, so you can see that the angles are pretty bad. And he's pretty much got no heels. If anything, the heel bulbs are on the floor. But his feet were actively changing nearly every single day, to be honest. So after he was trimmed, I got him measured up for hoof boots, and I've done a couple of vlogs on those, but here he is in his hoof boots, which are working really good. It's just almost as if he's got shoes on, if I'm honest. They're pretty good. Had a couple of false starts, but I suppose I guess that's just not realising that hoof boots react differently into certain conditions as opposed to shoes. And then just the fit, really, just optimizing the fit. But apart from that, they've been really good. So I'm going to go through some images of Arthur's feet. So this was when I took off his shoes. So this is what they look like. And then this was his first trim. And then these images are just me taking photographs because they were changing every single day, pretty much. It was crazy. He does have a bit of thrush in his front hooves, so I'm trying to look after those. I just need to get some stuff from the vets. But I've been washing them with Hibby Scrub, and then I've been treating them with something else. I can't remember what it's called now, but it seems to be doing quite a good job. And his frogs are healing quite nicely. So I'm just trying to look after those and trying to pick his feet out every night and just trying to kind of manage him, I guess. So here is a picture where I really started to notice a difference. So his heels are starting to grow, and what I mean by he had a trim, it's very conservative. So it's just a case of allowing nature to take its course almost. I did notice that he went a little bit footsie, and under the trimmer's advice, I trimmed his bars a little bit, which that was the problem, because I took him out on a hack and he was striding out lovely. It was awesome to feel. And then this is the most up to date, which I'm gobsmacked at, if I'm honest. Yeah, I hoof mapped it again and compared it. And you can see that there's actually not much difference between the angles of his hoof when he was in wedge pads as opposed to now. His hind hoof, anyway. His front hooves are, the difference is more of a subtle thing. Yeah, you can see quite a significant difference, which I'm surprised at. It's amazing what nature can do. Obviously, farriers just tell me that he has long toes or whatever, but obviously that's not the truth, because why would he start to change? I've noticed that his feet are getting a little bit tighter, so the hoof boots are starting to get a little bit roomy. So I do think I'm going to have to probably buy some more hoof boots in the future. But yeah, I'm really shocked at the difference. Now it's not all roses. It's really not. So he has been a little bit footy, and I have had to do little bits and bobs with his feet. And then obviously I'm having to be more mindful, so I've got to, it's an extra 10 minutes to put his hoof boots on. I have to take them off. I'm covered in mud. I've got to clean them. So there are some inconveniences that go along with it. But it's just part of the process. All in all, I think he's probably going better on hacks than what he's ever gone. So to me, it's a positive thing, but obviously I can't really canter him. I have had 2 canters just because sometimes you have to. And he felt brilliant, but obviously I've not jumped him. I'm not really actively doing dressage work with him. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just trying to let his hooves heal, let his frogs and the digital cushion build up strength, and just keep on going through. But as you can see, there's already, even after 2 months, there's been some significant differences, more so with the shoes, but I think that's just more down to the trimming style. I know that farriers as far as I'm aware, are taught to trim to the widest part of the frog, but that doesn't apply to all horses in certain conditions. So Arthur's heels are being left alone, and you can see the changes, the active changes in his heels. So I suppose the farriers were just trimming away all of his heels every single time, and then that's caused everything to fail, whereas now he's just being left alone with some minor adjustments just to help the process, and I think the results kind of speak for themselves. So I'm just hoping eventually, I'm just hoping that these positive changes are just going to keep on going, and I'll have a completely different horse at the end of it, fingers crossed. But I just thought I would share this with you guys because I'm actually shocked at the change. I was a bit dubious, and I just thought, well, we're going to have to trim, we're going to have to do this, whereas we've just been kind of leaving him alone, and he looks completely different. So yeah, I'll put a video up. This was 20th of January, and the front of the entrance is a bit like hard standing, so it's full of rocks and things like that, and here's a video of him just trotting around and having fun. What? Have I helped you out? Hello. So yeah, you can see he's fine. But that's obviously just in Arthur's case. I'm not saying that barefoot is the best case scenario out of everybody. It still might not be for Arthur, but so far so good. Sometimes for other people and how they keep their horses and things like that, it's just not possible to go barefoot. But so far so good with Arthur, so I'll just keep on going and see the outcome. But I definitely don't think I will use open-heeled shoes again, that's for sure, if I ever did shoe him again. Hopefully this has been insightful. As always, if you guys like my videos, I hope people do, please like, subscribe and share, and help me out, help keep me motivated to keep sharing things that I learn along the way, I guess. It's not really something that I find much about. It's always professionals that like to give their experiences and things like that. You don't really see it from an owner's perspective, which I think is really valuable. Until next time, it was my birthday on the 18th. My husband bought me an equilibrium massage pad to help out with Arthur, and he also got me a book of core conditioning. So I plan to do some vlogs on those. So until next time.